Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you're a C-suite leader, a compliance executive, or maybe legal counsel gearing up for your next boardroom presentation, you are absolutely in the right place. The pressure on executives right now is just immense. Directors are starting to ask the really hard questions about artificial intelligence, and they're expecting concrete, defensible answers. So today, we're basically setting up a highly strategic prep session for you. We're going to take this rapidly shifting, multi-jurisdictional AI compliance landscape, which is a mouthful, and distill exactly what you need to know to build a resilient, globally compliant AI program. We are taking all that legal uncertainty and translating it into a fully actionable, board-ready strategy. Here's exactly how we're breaking this down today. 1. The boardroom AI mandate. 2. Mapping the global patchwork. 3. Assessing ADMT materiality. 4. Transparency versus global principles. 5. Aligning with cyber frameworks. And finally, number 6, your executive action plan. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the boardroom AI mandate. Okay, let's dive into this. A staggering 48% of Fortune 100 companies are now specifically citing AI risk as a core part of their board oversight responsibilities. I want you to just let that sink in for a second. Half of the most powerful companies on the planet have officially bumped this up to the absolute highest level of corporate governance. This isn't just some niche IT issue anymore. It's not a fun sandbox project. This is fundamentally a boardroom issue now, representing a massive shift in executive liability. To put that into perspective, this comes from recent EY research analyzing corporate filings. We are seeing a massive, threefold jump in just one single year. It went from 16% in 2024 to nearly half of all Fortune 100 companies today. The sheer velocity of this change is practically unheard of when it comes to corporate governance. Boards are aggressively expanding their tech disclosures because, well, they're waking up to the massive financial, reputational, and regulatory risks on the table here. They aren't waiting for the dust to settle. They want proactive governance structures right now. And that makes AI governance an absolutely urgent priority for any executive briefing you're giving this quarter. So where exactly are these complex conversations taking place behind closed doors? Unsurprisingly, audit committees are still the most common home for this, handling it at about 21% of companies. They're usually focused on the baseline risk and compliance metrics. But here's where it gets interesting. The data shows that companies handing this over to non-audit groups, like technology committees or nominating and governance committees, are actually formalizing these duties way more deeply. When those committees take the reins, they aren't just ticking compliance boxes. They're getting into the strategic weeds, reviewing responsible AI development, auditing third-party vendor risks, and overseeing how this tech operates across the entire enterprise. That's where the real architectural heavy lifting is happening. Moving right along to Section 2, Mapping the Global Patchwork. Which leads us to the operational headache I know keeps a lot of you staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. How do you effectively report on a fragmented globe? You're operating across multiple markets at once, deploying software that completely ignores geographic borders. But the catch is, those different geographic markets absolutely do not agree on how AI should be regulated. Taking a single AI product and trying to squeeze it through 50 contradictory legal filters? Yeah, that is the primary challenge compliance executives are facing right now. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide we are facing. On one side, you have the European Union's approach with the EU AI Act. It's a single, massive, comprehensive regulation. We're talking strict risk-based tiers and absolutely eye-watering penalties of up to 35 million euros, or 7% of your worldwide turnover. And crucially, it has extraterritorial reach. So even if you're not an EU company, if your system is on their market, you're on the hook. It's very top-down and unified. Then you look at the exact opposite side, the United States. No single federal law. Instead, you're navigating a messy, state-level patchwork, sector-specific rules from agencies like the FDA, and aggressive enforcement from the FTC and state attorneys general. It is effectively the Wild West. And the reality is, you don't get to just pick your favorite regime. If you're global, you're forced to build an architecture that satisfies both worlds. Let's slow things down a bit for Section 3, Assessing ADMT Materiality. So the crucial point is understanding how the U.S. is shifting away from strict EU-style risk bans and leaning hard into procedural disclosure. Let's look at Colorado. Originally, they passed a law modeled pretty closely on the EU framework, but within weeks after massive pushback, they completely dismantled it. What they replaced it with, which kicks in under Senate Bill 26189 in 2027, is entirely focused on transparency. It targets what they call covered ADMT, or automated decision-making technology. The absolute trigger for compliance here is whether this tech is used to materially influence a consequential decision about a consumer. Think high-stakes life outcomes, employment, housing, healthcare access, or getting a loan. For your legal and compliance teams, you need a highly precise materiality assessment protocol. Think of this as your operational playbook. Step 1 is straightforward enough. Figure out if ADMT is being used anywhere in your organizational stack. Step 2 is where the heavy legal judgment comes in. Does this AI have a material influence? Meaning, is it a significant factor altering a major life decision, or is it just a background process? And step 3, this is the one that'll save you hundreds of hours. Check for exclusions. Colorado specifically exempts low-stakes business activities. So if you're using AI for basic spreadsheets, calculators, cybersecurity defense, fraud prevention, or basic web searches, you're excluded. The center of gravity in the U.S. has officially landed on procedural transparency, giving consumers notice and the right to opt out. Section 4. Transparency vs. Global Principles. Let's zoom out for a second to see how these localized state mandates compare to the major international treaties. The contrast is pretty stark, and it completely alters your strategy depending on your audience. The U.S. state-level focus, like what we see in Colorado or California, is intensely micro-level. It's all about individual consumer rights, point of interaction notices, and data correction. But then look over at the G7 Hiroshima Process Guiding Principles. They are looking at the macro level. They're focused on global systemic risk and safety across the entire AI lifecycle. The G7 expects robust physical and cybersecurity controls at the actual data center level and proactive incident reporting. They're trying to prevent systemic failures, not just hand out consumer notices. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the intense expectation the G7 places specifically on advanced AI developers. It goes way beyond what you write in a privacy policy. It's fundamentally about your technical build. They expect you to invest in robust physical and cybersecurity controls to protect things like model weights, algorithms, and training datasets from insider threats and cyber attacks. On top of that, they are heavily emphasizing content authentication. They're explicitly calling for watermarking and provenance mechanisms so users know instantly when content is AI generated. That is an engineering solution, not just a legal checkbox. Section 5. Aligning with cyber frameworks. So you might be wondering, how do you actually prove to your board that you have all of this under control? How do you cram EU bans, US consumer disclosures, and G7 engineering principles into a single cohesive presentation? Well, look at your most successful peers. Right now, a whopping 73% of companies are proactively disclosing alignment with external cybersecurity frameworks. That's up from 57% just last year, and back in 2019, it was practically non-existent at 4%. Executives are quickly realizing they need a shared, common language to explain all of this. Let's move to and see how this builds into a viable solution for your boardroom presentations. Listen closely. You absolutely do not need to invent an AI governance program from scratch. In fact, trying to do that is incredibly risky. Instead, align your AI reporting with established, internationally recognizable frameworks. We're talking NIST CSF 2.0, ISO 27001, and specifically the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. Doing this gives you the concrete, defensible proof that boards are desperate for. These frameworks take the absolute chaos of global laws and seamlessly translate them into a mature, standardized language of risk management. It literally turns this abstract, intimidating AI threat into a standard operational risk matrix that your executives and auditors already understand. Finally, Section 6, your executive action plan. Let's pull all of this together into a real, concrete playbook you can actually take to your next meeting. If you only take away one strategic approach from this explainer, make it this. Do not fall into the trap of building 3 or 4 separate compliance programs for different regions. It's a nightmare. Build one core program layered for global resilience. Start by building your baseline to the highest, most comprehensive standard, which right now is the EU AI Act's rigorous risk management and technical documentation. Once that rock-solid foundation is in place, strategically layer on your U.S. state-level disclosures, like those Colorado ADMT consumer notices. And then cap the whole thing off by implementing the G7's strict security and incident reporting controls to protect your intellectual property. This unified approach radically reduces your costs, kills internal duplication, and readies your organization for whatever wild regulation gets passed next. So, as you head into preparation for your next boardroom presentation, I'm going to leave you with a final, provocative question to ask your team today. Is your AI governance program truly built for a multi-jurisdictional reality, or are you guys just perpetually reacting to whatever the very last law passed happened to be? You need to audit your compliance posture right now. Map your active deployments against these unified frameworks and lead the conversation with your board before they come demanding the answers from you. Thanks so much for joining the Explainer.